the biggest events that happened this year were very much tailored to the Kenyan audiences, specifically in Kenya, including but not limited to the biggest event ever, which was Abel Mutua, Phil Creative. I think Njugush was part of it, Eddie Butita. They had a huge event called the Trinity Experience, which basically featured three parts of this particular show. We had the Jewish Party, which basically was the storytelling segment that Abel Mutua usually has on his YouTube channel, and I love it. I love it. It was quite emotional. He ended up giving a huge tribute to K-Rupt, who is a fallen legend in the music industry. Of course, they had the movie premiere, which was Makosa Ni Yangu, and it was a very interesting movie about femicide and I think domestic violence within relationships, specifically in Kenya, and the survival of it. And of course, there was the live music part, which had Heart the Band. Sanaipei Tande also graced the screens and graced that occasion as well. Such a beautiful event. And obviously, there was such a huge crowd that was pulled to it, having 5,700 people coming to that event in Sarit Center or at the Sarit Center. Huge numbers. We saw everyone from Pascal Takodi being part of that audience. Like, it was huge, honestly. I think the most interesting thing was Abel Mutua wrote something about this afterwards, and he said, where wakurugenzi will make you feel like a king, I swear. Hivi ndio mnatushanga msanii mpaka anaingia siasa wallahi. I felt so nice paying tribute to K-Rupt, a Kenyan music legend that left us too soon. But one thing is for sure, the warmth he's gotten from Wakurugenzi definitely had him smiling from above. Na wakimaliza bado tuna insist ya kwamba blessed Njugush ni, and then continued on to joke and diss Njugush as always. Anyway, I loved that event. It seemed like one of those where I felt a lot of FOMO for not attending, but it's okay. There are so many events coming, including the roasts of different celebrities. Like Eddie Butita had a roast, a few other people were roasted. It's been really awesome. Crazy Kenna also had a huge event as well. This was this year as well. It was Happy Country 2, and that was also attended by massive numbers. Of course, he entertained and did what he needed to do. We had Mamito Eunice, whose Mandamano baby for some reason has been part of the conversation for quite a while now, and it's so funny that she's been joking about it, having been pregnant during Mandamano, and basically giving us the chronicles of Mandamano. Mandamano baby as her title for her open stand-up comedy routine that was happening on the 20th of December. Now, I loved, speaking about Mandamano by Miss Mamito, but like the reality of matters is we really did andamana. Like, we actually were on the streets protesting and fighting against the anti-finance bill, which was being forced down our throats by our leaders. And obviously this led to a huge revolution. I think it's still now, amalgamating into something more, because we've been seeing cabinet secretaries being shifted and changed every so often. Like, we've seen the president actually kind of sort of apologize to the people for what he did, but like there is still a lot of uproar about Mandamano. This happened all the way in, I think, June, July, and people were on the streets every single day. There was rebellion by the police and the people within the forces. Unfortunately, lives were lost. Unfortunately, some places like Githurai were hit, and people unfortunately were killed during the Mandamano. It was a heavy time. It still feels very heavy because we didn't really get what we wanted, which was change in power, but it's going on, and that was a huge event that is still, even now, bearing fruits and causing disruption everywhere, and we love it. I mean, it's important for us to stand for ourselves. We saw that this Mandamano for the anti-finance bill in Kenya led to Mandamano in Nigeria, led to people in Ethiopia talking, led to people in Uganda talking. It was a conversation across boards. And honestly, I am so proud of us for standing up for what we believe in and standing up for our rights. And the Gen Z movement, my God, such a shout out to Gen Z. Y'all did the thing, and you're still doing the thing, and we love it. We love it. I feel like if I get into that, I'm just going to get angry and confused and start saying things that shouldn't be saying. But either way, keep the power moving. Viva forever. Anyway, moving on to the next interesting event that happened after the Maandamano was Benny Hinn. He came to cleanse our nation. That was so funny. He came to heal our nation and cleanse our nation and pray for us and, issue miracles by appointment of, obviously, the wife to the president. And that was so funny because immediately after Benny Hinn came to Kenya and prayed for the healing of our country, he went on a documentary and he said he's a fake healer and he's a fake prophet and he does a lot of shady stuff. So basically Kenya was his final money grab. It was so funny. It was really funny too. Oh God, that was so funny. I still can't imagine that almost immediately after that was funny. You know what? That was hilarious. Hilarious. Oh my God. And of course, there was a lot of drama with the Furaha City Festival where Willie Paul was supposed to be performing at that event. It was big names. There was Willie Paul, there was Harmonize, there was Calligraph Jones. I think even Femi One was part of it. Like there were so many Kenyan artists and Tanzanian artists, but the problem happened when Diamond Platnumz wanted to perform during the slot that was allocated for Willie Paul, and Willie Paul was not taking it. He was not taking it. And of course, a lot more controversy has come through because apparently Willie Paul was acting a fool backstage, and that's what caused a lot of the issues there. But the blows were exchanged. He was beaten up by a bodyguard, allegedly, that was Diamond Platnumz's camp bodyguard. And it just led to a whole lot of controversy because Diamond Platnumz didn't perform, even having been paid 20 million Kenya shillings. Like, he didn't perform. He just did not perform. He came, he went, as in no performance. It led to Kenyans basically unganaing in the comment sections and being angry at Tanzanians. It led to Eric Omondi then coming up again and speaking about play 75% Kenyan music, and Diamond Platnumz saying, yo, what do you mean play 75% Kenyan music? What happens if you come to Tanzania and we do the same? We're like, whatever you're doing, 75% has to be Tanzanians and then others. And it just led to so many things, including, I think, what's his name? The guy, I forget his name, who then said that Willie Paul knows exactly what he did. Willie Paul knows how much support he was given with all of his 40 people in his crew of dancers and so on. Like, it led to so much conversation about music in Kenya versus music in Tanzania. In fact, people even revealing that Kenyans listen to a lot more of Tanzanian music, because on the top 10 list of music in Kenya that was trending, it was basically 8 of those artists, including I think Mario, Harmonize, Diamond Platnumz, and I forget the other guy. All of them were Tanzanians. There were literally only 2 Kenyans there, and one of them was Guardian Angel. It was very revealing, very telling about our habits as well. Insane. Of course, Soulfest happened and it was raining on the first day. We don't know about the second day, but it was raining on the first day, and guys were being clowned for paying 20,000 Kenya shillings to go to an event and having the rain fall on them the whole night. It was honestly, it's been an interesting event and affair when it comes to the events that happened locally, but that's just some of the ones that I can come up with. So I want to know from you, what events happened in Kenya that we may not have covered and they made an impact in your life? Please let us know on the number 0770 729 366, and of course under the comment section of the playlist eSpice on YouTube. And let's move on to Afro